Hey, Jenny Jones, Digital Growth Hacks Club. Listen, today is today. Kind of missed you guys a little bit. Did you guys miss me? Maybe. Did you miss any of the Jenny Juice? I don't know. Let's do a quick microphone check. Of course, I've been experimenting with a new setup yet again. Went out to New York, picked up some new gear. So I got to make sure it's straight, right? So who's all here? Who's in the house? Let's see. I see C Store's in the house. What's up, C Store? Anthony, what? Chris? Is that you? Chris is here? Man, things are looking up. All right. So, what are you guys here for? You guys tell me, what are you here for? Who's coming? Who's coming today? What? Adrian made it? Always need the juice. Mike, Michael C Store is the perfect juice uh interpreter, right? He tells people what kind of juice you need. That's too funny. That's an inside the community. It's an inside the community joke. You must be there to understand it. You guys can hear me. All right, cool, 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 cool. So I see we're still waiting on the founder to show up. I wanted to hang out a little bit late today because I owe you guys, because when I was in New York, I promised you guys we would go live. And let me just be honest, right? So let me be honest, because he's going to probably show up and he's going to probably try to take over the show. But we get there and Mark Rodriguez, right? He's going to probably pop on. But dude wanted to go eat, right? He knows all these spots in New York. I don't know. I'm a California guy, right? So me and Cold Crush, we said, all right, let's go eat, right? We went to this place, man. We got full and we got tight, man. It's so funny because I said, man, we're supposed to go live, right? It was so funny. So we weren't able to go live. Then my wife started blowing up my phone. Hey, I want to go shopping, right? I want to go down to Canal Street, right? And so that's the joke, man. It's so funny. So now every time I talk to Mark, every time he calls me, every time he emails me, every time he texts me, he's talking about, dude, we were supposed to go live. You were down there. I picked you up from the hotel. We went and picked up Cold Crush, and we didn't even go live. I'm like, I'm like, wait, what? So now every time we do that, so basically what I would like to do is I want to probably hang out a little bit later, and if he joins, I'll make him join, and we'll kind of finish up our go live. And I know it's kind of late in some of the areas, but I just want to let you know I do owe you guys that. I was going to go live. Um, I was going to go live yesterday, and he said, "No, don't do that. I'm not ready." So I wanted to put him on blast because he's been working me. Anyway, so yeah, let's get started. Um, the founder is he has made it here. I had to give you guys some of my warm-up jokes, right? We went to the comedy club in New York, and let's just say it was just all right, right? So I figured I could work out some of my material as well. So all right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Let me add the founder here to the show. Are you guys ready for this? Hey, they're gonna be ready for this. Listen, James, they listen. I have a fiery group, right? They're very respectful, but they're very smart. They're very savvy, right? And they know a good product when they see one. And we kind of think, Kaizon is kind of, we're kind of feeling it here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a single shot and let you kind of introduce to the world who you are in a 60-second shot. Who's James? Who's Kaizon?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Jenny. Look, it's a pleasure being on. Thank you for having me on. Look, I think we like to keep things very simple here at Kaizen. So what we do is we effectively bring document collaboration into your remote meetings. So if you think about having your remote meetings on Zoom, Meets, but you can't really do anything with documents, you can't really collaborate. So what we do is we try to bridge that gap by bringing your Google Documents, Google Slides, and any of your Microsoft Word, PowerPoint presentations into a online meeting space called Kaizen Space, where I guess people can collaborate and work in real time. Yep, so that's effectively our 60-second elevator pitch.
Hey, sounds good to me. So I want to kind of jump right into it. And I want to first start off with the name, right? Because I'm like, everybody wants these single names like Google or Sony, right? Is that where Kyzon wanted to have a single name? But what does Kyzon mean? Does that mean something? Maybe.
Yeah, so this is quite an interesting story. So I think what this is one of those stories where we started off, I guess, effectively wanting to be simple. So I think all of our co-founders, we at heart are very simple people. We like to keep things simple. We don't like to make things complicated. And effectively, we wanted something that sounded simple, that is easy to remember, easy to kind of type. And
Okay.
we all had this, I guess. Okay, so we are all very Japanese, kind of. Okay, I won't say all very Japanese, but we are like, we appreciate the notion of Kaizen in Japanese, where it kind of represents the idea of continuous improvement. And we
Oh,
kind of had the opportunity to kind of register the domain Kaizen.com. And we kind of had, okay, we really like the word Kaizen. And we had the opportunity to kind of have a player play on that word as a domain. So that's why we kind of went, okay, let's go this direction. Let's kind of use, I guess, the idea of continuous improvement as the brand and as kind of the messaging.
so what's fun? Chris says, "Hey, is that a Godzilla relation or something? Is that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if she's an anime person or whatever, but why is she saying that? Is that something that I don't know? Maybe it's an inside joke I don't know about or something?
Yeah, look, I haven't actually seen Godzilla, so I think that's one of those
Wait,
meteors I have to check out. And I'll
wait,
get
hold
back to
on,
you,
hold on,
Chris.
hold on. You've never seen Godzilla?
No, I haven't.
Listen, don't tell anybody that. It's just between you and I right now, but do not tell anybody you've ever seen.
Yeah, and like your 3,000 audience live that's watching this right now.
That is too funny. All right, so we're gonna get into a couple of different questions. We're gonna talk about your deals and different things like that. But right off the bat, Adrian fires very. I have two Adrians in my group and in my private community. They're both so technical. I'm like, why do you guys got to be way up here? They're like, Jenny, we want to know, two times square equals, so they're pretty. So what Adrian is saying is Adrian McGraw, she's like, hey, I'm wanting to see if this will work for larger groups with the restarting and if you can integrate it with schedulers to send a link and if there are permanent links for rooms that can be so she just add rooms that can be used on repeat. And I think that was one of the original questions I asked you. So let's actually
Yep.
break down some of the things that she said. um so what is the number one use case? Let's backtrack it and then let's divvy up what she was saying. So what's the number one use case of Kaizen?
Yeah,
Kaizen,
definitely.
right? Okay.
Yeah, so like I guess our product, so I guess our company is actually Kaizen Solutions, and we
Okay.
split our products into two. Like, so we have two platforms, right? So we have Kaizen Space, which is the
Mm,
video collaboration
got
platform
it.
that we offer,
Mhm.
and we have Kaizen Flow, which is, I guess, our take on Google Drive, but it's still in
Oh.
beta, so we don't like to kind of present it as a completely complete product.
Mm.
But in terms of Kaizen Space as the video collaboration platform, that's what we're offering on AppSumo, and that's our product that we stand behind.
So on AppSumo, we're just getting Kaizen Space. We're not getting Kaizen, as you
Flow?
said, it was Kaizen Flow. Yeah, and I mean, I haven't. I think there's a window where you can pick it up, but is that included, but
Yes.
not? I guess if you can help me understand a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that's one of the confusions that a lot of people have had, right? It's like, hey, what are we getting on AppSumo? Are we getting just space or are we getting flow
Right.
as well? So,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so you're actually getting both. You're actually getting both. So
Okay.
because Kaizen Flow is currently in beta, we don't want to really be like, hey, look, we're not selling it. But we want to give people early access and we want people to kind of give us feedback, what they want to see in the product and how it kind of elevates the Kaizen space experience because we see
So
it
it is.
as, I guess, a complementary product.
So I mean, but if we did purchase it from AppSumo, we would just get Kaizen Flow by default, or you're just not temporarily just
Yes.
holding that in front of us and then it goes away.
No, no, no. No, no, no. So you guys get to keep the inclusion of flow. So all of the storage that we promised in our AppSumo campaign comes complimentary lifetime as well.
Oh, got it. So just so that I'm clear and I understand is, so once you leave AppSumo, it's still sold as two different products, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't,
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
don't
what?
know.
Yeah. So all of the storage that you get in Flow, that we've advertised on AppSumo, you guys get to keep that. We wouldn't. Yeah. Look,
Nice.
if you guys store like documents with us, we're not gonna like start deleting them and be like, "Hey guys, this is no longer available."
Well, I mean, the only reason I bring that up is because we've we've seen some of that before, right? We've seen before. So that was the only reason why I brought that up. So, oh, can you hear that?
I can.
You know
Yeah,
what?
is that mine?
No, that's
No. Okay.
mine. And I basically told my wife I was going live, but I'm gonna put her on blast right now because I told her, I says, "Hey, call me before I'm going live." She says, "Problem, honey, I will not call you." Well, she called me, right? So now I got to
Could
give her
be
a
a
hard time
misdial.
about, huh?
Could be a misdial. Maybe she had her phone
No,
on her
man.
desk and
I
she
I
tapped it by
told
accident.
her that, man. She I don't know why she's being so difficult. So listen, um, so we got that, right? So so can you give us a use case? A person would be looking for your tool. Would they be looking for your tool to replace say Zoom or elements of that? Or I'm gonna go ahead and let you answer that question. Can a person what is a typical use case that you designed it for, or do you think people should be looking at this tool for?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so when it comes to okay, so we had this question a lot, right? So in what circumstances can space replace Zoom, Google Meets, Cisco WebEx, or Teams?
Hmm.
So I think a question, a simple answer to this is, if you are trying to work with a group on
Hmm.
I guess, presentations, and you want the experience to be interactive, that's where Kaizen space is the best suited for. So if, like, for example, you have a group meeting and you want to discuss or brainstorm ideas, instead of screen sharing a Google document or screen sharing a Microsoft Word document or screen sharing a Notion, where the presenter is kind of making edits and everyone is just sitting there watching, you can now open up a document, a Microsoft document, a Google Slides, Google Docs document, and everyone can kind of like type, collaborate, brainstorm in real time. So that keeps everyone engaged. So that's probably our primary use case. Our secondary use cases are, for example, instead of allowing, I guess, the presenter to share their screen in a presentation and everyone sitting around and not being engaged, you can kind of share a PDF presentation that is synced for everyone in the room. So how that works is regardless of whether you join late or you're on time or it's a long presentation where people start tuning out, everyone gets to see this presentation in real time, getting synced throughout their screens. And what is this cool, unique feature about Space is that, I guess, participants can scroll through the presentation without affecting the position of the presenter. And that allows people over a long meeting to kind of scroll back in the slides to kind of catch up on content that they may have missed.
All right, so let's
And
go
at
back
any time,
to
they can
me.
sync back.
Yeah, because to me that is a superpower, right? I always try to find what is the superpower of this tool, right? And a lot of my community here know that about me. So what you're saying, and I want to make sure that we explain that, and I think we may be able to do it. We got to at least do a demo of that, right? So what you're saying is, if let's say we have a meeting, and let's say 10 people are supposed to show up, and I'm presenting. I'm starting to present. I'm already presenting. I'm maybe in the fourth slide. Someone comes in, maybe a person shows up late, or maybe their wife called them and interrupted them on a live stream or something like that. And then they came on. That late person have the ability to go back through the slides and then kind of catch up to where the presenter is. The presenter never really stops and just keeps going, and then that person catches up. Is that the crux of what that is? I just want to make sure I understand.
Honestly, you explained that better than I did, frankly. Yeah,
Oh,
so that is
was it because I talked
exactly.
about my was it because I talked about my wife interrupting me, or that's the perfect segue of what could possibly happen?
Yeah, honestly, you hit the nail on the head, right? So That's exactly what we designed it for, in the sense that effectively we allow people to kind of score through or like back or forward on presentations
Mm,
without affecting the presenter. So there's so many times, especially in like meetings, where you kind of tune out for like about 5 minutes and
mm,
you just have no idea what the presenter's talking about. And in these meetings, so sometimes you can be like, hey, look, can you go back and repeat what you just said? But you do
mm.
that like a few times and it kind of disrupts the flow of the meeting. And we didn't like that. So we were like, hey, look, what if you can seamlessly go through slides in a presentation without having to kind of stop the presenter, without having to kind of pause the flow of the meeting?
And regardless of what people may say, that happens all the time, especially if you're in these meetings and someone's talking, they're going, oh, they said, well, we'd like Jenny to do that. Hey, what? Oh, what did you want me to do? Right. And that happens, right? So, all right, so that's one superpower. Give us another superpower of Kaizon
Yeah.
that you
So
think
I,
is a superpower.
yeah, okay. So are we moving on from documents? Are we moving on from live document collaboration?
No, we're still there. I mean, is
Okay,
there
we're still
anything
there.
else? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
is there
so I think
anything else? Go ahead.
yeah, so in terms of, I guess, the other superpower that we try to present is the idea that you can literally, I guess, edit documents in real time. So effectively, instead of, I guess, people sitting around looking at documents and looking at, I guess, the presenter, I guess, making edits or changes on a document,
Mhm.
now everyone has access to a live document. So imagine on this live stream, we had a document in front of us that everyone can see, and everyone can edit and instead of, I guess, live chatting, people can add like these dot points of what questions they want, and everyone can see that in real time.
Oh, so let me get that. Let me digest that, right? Because I like that. So what you're saying is, so what type of give me a document that I would be working on? Maybe an Excel spreadsheet, putting numbers in, or maybe a Word doc, or tell me what I'm working on. Am I working on what am I working on that we're all able to share and collaborate? Let's do a
Yeah, definitely. So let's suppose we are trying to release a new webinar, right? So we're trying to release a new webinar for next week, Wednesday, and we have a pre-launch checklist that we have to go through. And
sure.
instead of, I guess, flipping that through email and async, we can hop onto a call. We could have the pre-launch checklist up in a Word document, and we can start, I guess, adding to that list and checking it off in real time.
So can everybody simultaneously says, "Hey, you know what, Jenny, you take the last 3 bullets, Johnny, you take 6, 7, and 8, and then Tammy, you take 1 through 7." We could all do that at the same time collaboratively?
Yes.
Ooh, that's juicy. Um, I like that. I don't know if I knew that. You was holding out on me, James. I don't think I knew that. So okay, so what type of documents? Is it Word doc or Word? I mean, or is it Google Docs or Word or both or PDF?
Yeah, so we like to try to give people as many options as possible. So at the moment, we support both the Google Suite, so Google
Mm.
Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets. And on top of that, we also support Microsoft Documents. So if you like to work on Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, we support those document formats too.
Oh,
And
so there's
finally,
3.
just to give
Mm.
people, we also have PDF for
Oh,
presentations.
nice. Okay, so we can have either Google Docs, meaning that Google Docs, Google Sheets, or Google Slides, or Microsoft um, Excel, Word, or PowerPoint. Okay. All right. I man, I like that. All right. So what else do we have? What else do we have? Because I want you to at least demo. This is seeing is believing. I've seen it. I want some people here to see it before we start taking some more questions. But what else do we have that people may not know about Kaizen? And then if you guys, just in case you guys don't know, you guys you can use the link. I'm going to put the link in the description, and that's really to support the channel so we can get more founders on like James to kind of give us some of the juice, and then I squeeze out the Jenny juice by hacking it with another tool. I think I have another tool. I have another tool in mind I want to do this with. So what else do we have? I think I know what the next superpower is, but I want to see what you come up with.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so this is a like a sneak, I guess, quick, I guess, hitter that is just convenient for everyone. So we currently integrate with Google Drive, OneDrive, and Dropbox. So the three main cloud providers that people routinely store their files on. And we just want to throw that in there just to kind of let people know that we like to give people options on where they can store their documents and where they can actually kind of what they can share from in space.
All right. So in order for us to collaborate on a document, it has to be sitting in one of the shared drives. I think that's
Well, okay, so that's typically what people like to do. So a lot of people are like on cloud these days, so they like to store their like documents on Dropbox, OneDrive, or
yeah.
Google Drive,
Yeah.
or with us on Kaizen Flow. But if I guess you are in a pinch and you want to upload your own documents, you could do that to the meeting files folder in Space itself. So you have
Let's
options. So you can upload
let's
your own
go.
documents, or you can share them from your cloud drive.
So let's go back. So if I upload my own document, I could store it on Kyzon Flow. I mean, is it
Yeah,
Kyzon Flow? Oh, I can.
yeah,
Any one of those 3 documents, the Microsoft, the Word, any one of those 6 documents that we talked about, and even
yes,
PDF.
yes.
Oh, you've been holding out, James. I'm disappointed in you because
Yeah, I had to surprise you for this live.
I'm starting to realize some real use cases with this. All right, so before we showcase it and show a little bit more, talk to me about the teams, and then we'll get into how many people and all. But I know you guys have a team feature. So the 2 things I want you to show when you do bring it up is I do want you to show, if you can, a share document, or if you need to share a document with me or something like that. I do want people to see that, but I also want people to understand this team breakout dynamic, which almost takes it into a
Mhm.
hybrid webinar kind of breakout, um, kind of cohort type of. I haven't seen that much. So tell me
Mm.
about that, or tell me about the story behind that. Or first of all, tell me what it is, so that people understand that's just another superpower that you have. But give me a scenario for that.
Yeah, look, thanks for bringing that up. So in terms of how we imagined breakout rooms, we call them spaces. And what we wanted to do with our kind of spaces concept is to mirror how people work in person. So in person, when you have an office type setup, people normally go and like go off into their own pockets of space, and that's where they collaborate.
Hmm.
And when people go off into their own pockets of space, they collaborate in their smaller teams, but they also feel connected to the larger team or company as a whole. And that's what creates connection. And a lot of that ends up being lost when you're remote. Because, for example, when you're on Zoom, if you end up in a breakout room, you end up feeling you're like in a completely separate room, devoid from the entire meeting. And that experience can feel a bit disconnected at times with, I guess, larger teams. And we wanted to change that with what we call open spaces. And it's effectively creating breakout spaces in a more open environment while also being simple and easy to use.
So I understand the concept, but tell me, so right there when you explain it, you're like, yeah, and I've been in those, right? When you're on a Zoom, it says, oh, we're gonna break out in teams, we're gonna go for 10 minutes, and we're gonna summons everybody back. You are absolutely correct. And I want to get comments here below if you guys have ever gotten that, where if you've been on a Zoom and it says, oh, we're gonna break you in a team, or Microsoft Teams. Does Microsoft Teams does that as well. They'll break you off in these silos, right? And it says, oh, well, we'll send 5 people here, 5 people here, 5 people there. So now we're all in 5 people team. All right, so we have to come up with the plan to do. We're supposed to be part of the icebreaker team, so we have to come up with icebreakers. And so you're then on this island. What then does Kaizon do? Does it, I mean, everybody comes back, so that's almost still the same concept, but how does it feel different from Kaizon? Because you can on Teams or Zoom, you can break into these rooms and then come back. Kaizon then does what differently?
Yeah. So, okay. So I think the core functionality of the spaces are pretty set, like similar. So we didn't want to reinvent the wheel and have like you kind of break out into like this whole nother universe. But what we tried to do with the experience is to make it feel as if you're still part of the original meeting, as opposed to being in a whole separate meeting. And how we do that is the way we lay out the design of the breakout spaces. So instead of the breakout spaces being tucked away in a corner that is inaccessible and hard to view for everyone, we
Mhm.
lay that front and center in, I guess, a a tab-like layout. So imagine your Google tabs, right? It's like if you use Chrome, your tabs on the top of your browser, you can kind
Right,
of skim through them. You can kind of easily kind of hover over them to see what you
right.
have, what you're working with.
Mhm.
And we try to bring that idea into spaces in a virtual meeting setting.
So it'd almost be like if you're working in Excel, you have the Excel sheets or Excel tabs that show up across the bottom. So let me ask you this, and we're going to get into some questions. I do want you to show me some of how some of this looks. But if we have the tabs across the bottom, how can let's say we had a let me just give you an example, right? Let's say I was doing a training cohort because I do a lot of training, right? And let's say I have, hey, we're going to break out. I want all my marketing people that are interested in marketing to go to the marketing tab or the marketing room. All the people that's interested into uh, video production, I want you to go to the video production tab. And then we're going to come back. We're going to work in those rooms. I'm going to go by each room and check on you guys as a group. And then we can come and I think you mentioned something about I can still chat as well. Is that kind of because I that's something that I know I can't do in Teams or Zoom. Is that what we're talking? Is that what it is?
Yeah, definitely. So just to clarify, so yeah, so with our breakout spaces, you can either like in a single click, as simple as clicking on, or as simple as changing your tabs on a Chrome browser or like
Mm,
any other browser, you
mhm,
can, in a single click, you can hop into a separate space and you
mhm.
can kind of join that discussion in that separate space. Alternatively, if you don't exactly want to go through each space in that meeting, you can chat or you can, I guess, chat with the teams in those spaces through our multi-space chat feature, if that makes sense.
So I don't have to visit each room. I can just chat with each room.
Yes, selectively without the at everyone kind of like shouting to the whole
Oh, so if
meeting
I
idea.
oh, that's juicy. So if I had a marketing room, I don't have to go in the marketing room. I still can speak to everybody in the marketing room from the chat, and the other people
Yes.
from the other rooms won't see it?
Yes. Oh, okay, they can see it if they choose to kind of open the marketing space chat if they chose to, but they don't
Oh,
have to, or
so
they don't
you
default
guys
see.
don't have any, parameters or securities built into that? Maybe that's something maybe you guys need to add that. I like that.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good suggestion, actually.
yeah, you better write that one down, James, because
Yeah,
the way
I'm
I
noting that down now,
envision
actually.
the way that I envision someone kind of using that is there may be a time where I don't want other people
Mhm.
to know, and I may want them to come back to the main room. What did you guys come up with? No, what did you guys come up with? I may not want to visit every room, but I still might want to chat with the participants in that room. Does that make sense?
Mm. Yeah, actually, that actually does make good sense, actually.
Okay.
Let me
Okay.
write that down.
Yeah, write it down, man. All right. So as you go, I want to give you an opportunity to set up your Uh, I want to give you an opportunity to set up your space, your Kaizon space, and we're going to take a few questions until you get ready to kind of show me. First thing I kind of want you to do is show me the shared hop in, hop on. I'm using hop in, hop on because I was just in New York and they got this hop on, hop off bus, man. They were driving us crazy. It was like, oh, we get to one stop and the bus breaks down. So everybody gets off the buses, these double decker buses. We all get off. We all get on another bus. We go a couple more stops, and there's all this bus that is out of service. It was so that's why this whole hop on, hop off thing is in my head. So when you're
Yeah,
ready,
we
I'm gonna
use Hop.
go ahead.
No, we use Hop in Australia as well, so
Okay,
I vibe
okay.
with that.
So I want to see if we can finish breaking down Adrian's question here. Want to see if it can work with larger groups. So, what's the largest group you can work with? Is that depend on what tier you get, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I guess with the AppSumo tiers, we are limited by the number of participants you can have in each meeting as a whole. So I
Sure.
guess so maximum tier is like tier 5, that's 200. And so that would probably be the upper limit of what you can have in a larger group.
Okay, 200. Okay. All right. Can you integrate with schedulers?
Okay, so that's one of the highly requested features. So at the moment, we only integrate with Google Calendar, but we're working on integrations with other schedulers.
Yeah. So note to self, right? If you're ever going to come to AppSumo, and any of you other founders see this out here, if you're going to come to AppSumo, there's a couple of core pieces that you need to realize when you're working with this audience. For one, maybe less than 10% uses Zapier. Maybe less than 20% use Google, right? We have our own,
Really? Oh,
SMTP. We kind of do our own thing.
mm,
And all those are good. I'm not saying that they're not bad. I think you have to make your product for everybody, not just for sumo links. I'm just saying when you do a sumo links, it's kind of we're kind of a niche kind of bunch. And I think it's important to kind of understand what we kind of like to do too. And at least to give us, because if people are going to pull it off the shelf, if the solution's going to work for them, and then that's how you'll get reviews and all that other stuff. I'm just trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to help you out here.
yeah.
So one of the other questions I had, and I was wondering, so there is no permanent link. I think that was one of the things that I thought that I was like, we need a permanent link or something. Because I've seen that. I've seen a permanent
Mm.
link where we can just use that one link. Maybe we need it for coaching or something like that, and then share that. Where you guys at on that? Or you guys even consider that, or maybe not so much?
Yeah, so in terms of the permanent link type idea, we floated that around. In terms of the way our meeting links work, is
Hmm.
that they don't actually expire. So
Hmm.
effectively, look, one link, you can use that for the end of time, honestly. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
so you can hop in, hop out with like with your clients whenever you so please, honestly. And effectively, that link never expires. The meeting files that you've uploaded to that, like, I guess, space call itself doesn't ever get removed. So it effectively is like a moment in time that gets sealed in a vacuum. So that's kind of pretty permanent in that regard.
Yeah, so I guess that's good and bad. I'm not saying the reason why I
Yeah.
say that is because maybe I bring somebody else into the room. It's like, oh man, I forgot to take the files down. Then maybe I was doing a
Mm,
coaching something with someone else and I forgot to take the files. I'm just saying that's something that we'd have to remember to do, or maybe that's a checkbox. Do you want these files to be available for this next meeting, or once we leave, just kind of, or let those files come back to the what is it? Not solution, but what is your other shelf thing? What is it? You have
flow?
Kaizon's flow. Yeah,
Yeah, flow.
let it sit in the flow and just add it to the flow every time. I think I don't know. It's
Mm,
just I'm just something I'm just thinking out loud. All right, so let's I want to show you guys. Um, oh, someone asked, they said, "Hey, listen, do you have workspaces for different clients?" I don't know if you guys do, but
right. Are they able to clarify that question? So do they mean that there are like you're inviting clients into a different workspace?
yeah, can you clarify that question, X Rayshawn? Um, can you clarify that question a little bit? Um,
Yes. Yeah, so I'll take a stab at it in the meantime.
sure.
So I think the answer would be no, in the sense that we like to think of the Kaizen like team space as more of an internal team space. So for
Got it.
example, if yeah, so you have a company, you invite all of your teammates or like employees or like colleagues into that team space, and they all have access to the space and flow features, and they can kind of share and schedule meetings through that.
So let me clarify this, right? And I have to do this because I think I know where we're at. Your particular tool was really designed for internal collaboration, but I
Yes.
think us as Sumolings, we look at it as far as client meetings or maybe cohorts or maybe coaching meetings. So you have these two ends of the spectrum, which it can be used inversely. But I think if it is going to be used inversely, or for you guys as Kaizon, as the designers, I think to get more mileage or more
Mm,
um, more range out of your tool, I think you should look through both sets of lenses. I
mm,
think you should look at it as where, because if you as the solopreneur, or maybe I have maybe a VA or two, that'll be most of
mm.
my team, right?
Yeah.
Or the small B to SMB, that small business, I may have a team of 10 or 15 that all belongs
Mm,
underneath my umbrella. But if I'm a solopreneur and I'm putting together a team and I
mm.
want to use it for coaching, and you see what I'm saying? It's almost two sides of this coin. And I think you built it for the internal. Is that fair, or is that the fair? Is that what I'm understanding? Or
Yeah, so our initial design, so our initial design concepts were for internal team collaboration. But
sure.
I think over time, as our feature set grew, I guess other customers or users decided, hey, look, this could work for agency work where they kind of interact and collaborate with clients too. So
Okay.
that's how that grew out. But I think you're completely right. I think because of that use case being more popular with our products, that
Sure.
is a use case we should design around.
Nice. So, how many people can edit the document? Can all the participants? So, if I had, I think your largest package is what you said, 200 people. Can all 200 people
Yeah.
edit the document at once?
So that's a great question. So in terms of the limits at the moment, it's more of a technical limitation, but the current maximum cap is 10.
So, maximum 10 people. I mean, again, yeah, it was designed for internal teams, not so much as that makes sense. Okay. All right. So, that's a good question. It's a good question. This is another good question. And and you can load up, you can hit share screen. Once I see that it's loaded, we'll go ahead and we'll start getting into it. But you hit the share screen at the bottom. This says, does the
Yeah.
original document get edited, or a duplicate of that particular document? That's a good question.
Yeah, so if you share it from your cloud drives, so for example, your Flow, your Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrives, they actually get edited directly on that cloud file.
Okay. Okay. So it doesn't create like an additional copy. Okay.
No.
All right. So we're getting questions from Mr. Johnny Kang, man. Johnny Kang is the Kang, man. He be coming with these serious questions. He's like, hey, look, good to see you guys on tier. I'm on tier 2. You always on tier 2. No, he says on tier 2, you allow 3 users to have 3 separate meetings with 40 participants each, which is limiting. Oh, yeah, that's Johnny's getting worked out. Is it possible
Yeah.
to allow those 120 people to gather in, what did he say here? Gather 100 people gather in one meeting? So if you
Yeah.
had 40 per user, could they all come together in one meeting? That's what I guess that's what he's asking.
Mhm. Yeah, look, I think Johnny asked that question on our AppSumo page. So
Whoa, whoa,
shout
whoa,
outs
whoa,
to
whoa,
you.
whoa, whoa. Stop, 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 stop. Johnny, man, don't be double dipping, man. Don't be come on, Johnny. Come on, man. What we doing, man? Because when I read it, he was almost like, yeah, I've seen that question before. Johnny, what are we doing, man? And your response to him on that page was what? So we all know,
Okay,
because I
so
don't know why you would do
so in
that.
all fairness to Johnny, we haven't fully addressed Johnny and I have been I guess working at this problem on the AppSumo
Oh
page.
my
So
god.
all fairness to him, we haven't actually addressed this concern yet. So this is a completely valid question.
So he gonna bring his drama up here to the Digital Growth Hacks Club. That's what we doing, Johnny. That's what we doing, really. All right. So
Um,
that's to be determined. They haven't determined that yet. Uh, listen, if you don't know Johnny, Johnny will try to break your tools. Right? It's like when you visit when you're kids and you ask your mom, "Hey, mom, can I take my truck over to Johnny's house?" Right? And she says, "Yeah, sure, you can take your truck over to John. You bring your truck over. Johnny's trying to break your truck." Literally, he's trying. Then you get in the car, you're crying. Your mom's like, "What happened, man? Johnny tried to break my truck." I'm being funny, but Johnny, he's like Inspector 12, man. He really goes through these tools. So I give him a hard time, but he can handle it. So that's just funny.
Yeah, the true creative contrarian, I can see that.
All right, so that was funny. That was a good story.
I wanna quickly address that, comment just so that, like, just for, like, everyone's benefit. So at the moment, the core, like, reason why we don't actually, I guess, we don't have that feature of allowing 3 users to effectively stack up the number of participants in each meeting is actually simply one of cost. So Johnny and I have kind of like we're working on this, right? So I think we're trying to get somewhere. But I've effectively what Johnny has suggested is if you kind of allow people to kind of set the different participant limits in each, I guess, meeting, you
Mm,
effectively still end up with the total number of participants across
right.
the different meetings. And that should
Aggregate.
balance out
Yeah,
the costs. Right, yeah. So for example, you can have one with 20, one with 80, and another with 20. So they still add up to 120. And
sure.
effectively that should effectively even out to be the same if one meeting had 120 people.
Right. That's fair.
So yeah, that's what we initially thought as well when we like started designing the platform, right? We were like, okay, well, if total is 120, they should all be the same. At the moment, the challenge we have is with the way that data gets sent out to the different participants. So without getting too technical here, if one meeting had 120 participants, effectively you're actually sending a lot more data to each person than a meeting
Mm,
with 20, 80, and
okay,
20
I can see
combinations.
that. Okay.
So it's
Oh,
something that we're still working on, but in terms of what we're trying to work through is how to manage those costs so that, for example, in tier 5, where we allow 200 participants with 15 users, we don't have one meeting with 3,000 participants.
yeah, see, Johnny's still thinking tier 2. You're thinking, "Hey, man, we're tier 5. We don't want to," and that's fair. So, Johnny, I mean, hopefully you understand the technicalities of that. While it sounds good on paper, just technical wise, you can't just roll out of bed and be like, "Oh, we'll just do this." No, because we can have 3,000 people and our server starts smoking, smoke starts coming out of the server. You're like, "What happened?" Yeah, we had 3,000 people sending data back and forth and on a on a lifetime deal, right? I just I'm a finance guy. I just got the numbers and I was like, yeah, that's we'll see what we can do on that one. What
Yeah,
can
so
we
we're working on it.
Yeah, what can we satisfy? So let me ask you this, Johnny. I will ask you. So Johnny wants to say, hey, in fairness, I should have 120 people to be able to join at any one time, but because
Mhm.
technical limitations and more of cost, um, what outside of that, Johnny, um, and I'm put this back in his court. What would you be looking for? What would be a compromise? Because we just basically, or he just shared with you, hey, these are the technical challenges of that. While in theory it sounds good, it's just not possible at this point. Maybe they'll come up with another solution. But what is it that you're actually trying to get to? And what kind of use case? Um, what do I want to say? What would be a fair compromise? Not so much we're not gonna get caught up in the 120 number or the 5,000 number or the 3,000 number. Let's try to find out a compromise solution for trying to make your use case work, right? Because I think you're like, "Oh, I wanna be able to get 120 people, and I wanna have the option of doing that." Well, I mean, he just shared with you, yeah, that's easy, quite possibly at a tier 2, but I have to make it fair for everybody, even the tier 5 people, so how do we make that work? That's fair, and I appreciate you being uh, honest with us and sharing that with us. I appreciate Johnny for the question.
It's a
Johnny,
great question.
this guy, man. All right, so I do want to see it. Right, I had a couple of questions. Any plans to provide URL links to the space? I think you kind of addressed that because it kind of gives you have these living spaces already. They never really go away unless you close this space, I think is what I've discovered. But yeah, and we've tested it out. We tried to break it in my community and everybody said it looks really good. It definitely looks good on mobile, which is the test that Perry, I don't even know if Perry's here, but Perry is the truth. She's our mobile tester, right? So I think she's a millennial. I think she does everything on mobile. And she's all she tried to break it. She said, man, it looks really good. So yeah, it looks really good on mobile, but I think we talked. Yeah, let's go ahead and share screen real quick. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
He's like, he says no double dipping. It wasn't me. Wasn't yeah, it was. You said it was.
Ooh.
He said it
Sorry if
was
it
you.
wasn't you.
It wasn't him?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
All
Now
right.
I can't comment. I can't comment.
All right.
I could have
Okay.
gotten
All
the
right.
wrong. I could have gotten the wrong person.
Okay.
The comment seems awfully similar, but okay.
Seems verbatim similar. All right. So yeah, let's share screen real quick. Let's take a
Yeah,
look
let's do
at
it.
it as we get out of here. Show us those two features. Show us the room. So the first one I want you to show us is when a person comes late. I don't even know if you'll be able to duplicate that, but let's take a
Yeah,
look.
definitely. Actually, would you like to hop on to this call with me? Just so that we can kind of show everything that's gonna
Yeah, yeah,
happen.
let's do it. I think I can join you. I have another computer. I got like 4 computers set up here. So
Easy.
um
How do I share this link with you?
no, just send it to the email. You have my email, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually,
Come
it's a great point.
on, come on, James, man. What are we doing here?
Yeah, yeah. What am I doing?
Yeah, what are we doing, James? All right. So
Yeah, I've sent that through.
all right, so let me do a refresh here. All right, so we are going to demo for you guys a person coming in late. So I want you to start the demo, then I'm going to join late because my wife is
Yeah,
probably
definitely.
holding me up because that's just kind of what she does. Um,
Yeah, so to kind of show the demo, so this you either have your meeting spaces or your cloud files. So meeting spaces are documents that are saved directly to this meeting. So you could feel free to either create new documents or upload
mm,
them. So I've already uploaded this presentation in advance, just so we can kind of speed things up. So all you have to do to share I guess, a document is either to use the 3 dots or to double click. So if you double click, you have options to either view it privately or share. So in this case, I'm going to share this to the meeting itself.
all right, so I already have your link and I'm going to join late. Hopefully you guys are seeing it. So I already have the link. I'm looking at it right now. So go ahead and start your presentation. Let everybody know, hey, we're going through this, blah, blah, blah. Blah blah, a shift from around us, blah blah blah. So I'm like, oh, I gotta pretend like I'm on with my wife because that's what she does. Hey, honey, yeah, I gotta go to this meeting. Yeah, I'm running late already. They're already talking about the education of evolution. I gotta hop in this meeting. I gotta go. I'm trying to give you guys real scenarios here. This is what happens. So, all right, so let's see. All right. Um, all right, so oh no, because is it gonna take my camera?
Oh, it might take.
Hmm.
Oh, wait, no, you can join with no camera actually.
Yeah, let me join with no. I'm gonna join no camera and no mic because it's wanting to hijack all of that. Yeah. So let me see. All right. Yeah. Let me join. That's crazy. All right. So I am in. All right. Now, do you want me to share my screen of what I see or
Yeah, let's actually do this instead. So if you want to, so let's actually do this instead. I think what would be on is because the audience is seeing my screen, let's have me be the participant instead. Let's me be the person that actually ended up joining late. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this presentation and I'll let you share it instead.
okay?
So yeah, so
Uh,
go to the bottom right-hand corner, like where it says show documents.
yeah, I gotta share my screen though, right?
No, actually, you don't have to,
No,
because
they
I'm
need to
sharing
see
my
it though.
screen. Yeah, so they'll see it through my screen share.
Okay, got it. All right. So what do you want me to do? You want me to click on what?
Yeah, so go to the bottom right-hand corner and click on Show Documents.
Uh,
And in the meeting files, you'll see this document called Idea Proposal.
share documents. All right. Oh man, I got stuff. Now, what am I looking
I'm
for?
really putting you on the spot here, Jenny.
No,
My
it's all good.
apologies.
What am I looking for?
So if you, yeah, so the bottom right-hand corner, there's this
No, I
button
got
called
that.
Show Documents.
I'm doing that. Do you want me? You want me to get the ideal presentation? Is that what you want me to do?
So double click the idea presentation.
Dude, you got me all over. I've never did this before. So let's see. Ideal
Really putting you on the spot
presentation.
here.
Do I hit the 3 dots? What am I doing here?
Yeah, so hit the 3 dots and click share
Share documents to
to,
space.
share document to space. Yeah, there we go.
Share document to space, and then share now, or just prove.
Yeah, share
Just
now.
share now,
Yeah,
right?
just click share
All
now.
right. All right.
Yeah, perfect. So as someone that's running late, I can now see this presentation in real time. So Jenny, if you want to just start like scrolling through this presentation or like kind of
Okay.
going through the slides.
All right. So I'm going through the slides because I showed up late, right? And you're still doing the presentation?
No, so sorry, Jenny, you're the presenter now, actually. So you're the presenter, and
Yes.
I'm the tardy attendee that joined this meeting 5 minutes late.
Okay. Oh, it's easier for me to
Yep.
do it for you to see. Okay, got it. All right.
Yep.
So I'm going through the presentation. I don't know if that's gonna work, but we'll try it. We now live in a
So
moving world, which is true. All right. So I'm on slide, I don't know. Oh, they're all still slide 2, but slide 5, education evolution. We have
Yep.
circles, we have classrooms, we have conferences, and
Yep.
going through it.
Yep.
And
So
go
I'm
ahead.
just gonna pause you there, Jenny. So as you're scrolling through, the audience members on this live can see that my screen is being synced with yours. And so effectively, as someone who's joined late, I now
Uh,
realize, oh, we're on education evolution, but I joined late and I have no idea what Jenny's talking about. So what I can do is I can actually scroll back on the presentation and I can catch up to see, oh, this is actually an idea proposal. And the first slide is we now live in a moving world.
oh,
And Jenny
nice. Yeah,
and Jenny at this point in time is actually going through the slide. So he's actually still continuing with his
I
presentation, but I
am.
can catch up in real time. And whenever I'm ready, I can actually go to presenter location with a single click at
So
the
I've
top
moved on.
and
So go
corner.
to a single location. I've moved on
Yeah,
from
so
where I had
you've
the
moved
3
on,
dots.
and now
Catch up.
I'm back. Now I've caught up
Nice.
to Jenny, which is the way students want to learn has changed.
Did you guys see that? That's fire. I like that. I like that. Juicy. All right. So, yeah, I guess you can take back over or whatever and then show us the breakout kind of spaces. Is that you? Wait a minute. Are
Yeah,
we
definitely.
both? Wait a wait a minute. Oh man. All right. So go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm synced
getting
with you. This is
I'm
exciting.
more and more impressed with this. You guys, what do you guys let me guys know in the comment if you guys think that's fire. Let me know in the comments if you guys think that is nice. Um, I know Johnny, he's probably like, nah, I still need to have 120 people. Still need to have 4,455 people.
It's very fair. It's very fair. We have big teams here. We have big teams here.
Yeah. So as we wrap up here, go ahead and show us the you can take back over. What do I need to do to get out of this? I can just
Yeah,
leave. Can I
definitely.
I can just leave, right?
Wait,
Oh
no,
no, no. No, no,
stay in
no.
this for
Yeah, let's go.
a bit longer. So
Sure.
what we're going to demonstrate is the idea of open spaces. So
Okay.
effectively, when you're in a meeting and you're kind of discussing things, sometimes you need to break out into a separate space to kind of work on the finer details before joining the larger meeting again. And
Mhm.
what we can do is similar to how you would create a Chrome tab, honestly, or new tabs in a browser. We right next to your center space is a plus button. And what we do here is we effectively make this really simple. You click on the plus button and you can just create a new space. And let's suppose I am going to, I
Just
guess,
call it
name the
marketing.
space design.
Oh, design. Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Jenny, when I hop into a new space, please open up your chat. And okay, actually, let me just demonstrate this in real time.
Let's do
So,
this. Yeah. Go ahead.
yep. So Jenny, when I hop into a new space, under
Uh-huh.
the chat, there will be an option that would show you that there is a new space called design. And what we
Okay.
want to do is we want to kind of like chat between spaces.
Okay.
So while
So
I'm in the design space, if you just send me a message, I will show everyone on the live what we can see and how we can kind of work without actually hopping between the spaces.
did you move over to that space yet? Oh, you're moving now.
Yeah, I'm moving now.
Okay.
Yep, so I've moved into a new space. And
Oh,
what I can do is so let's suppose I need your help, Jenny. So
yeah.
instead of you moving into my space, I can be like, hey, Jenny, I need your feedback on this design concept.
Let's see. Wait a minute. you know, you know what I did? Hold on. I got like 4 computers. Hold on. So let me see. I got to get the right computer. All right. So
Perfect. I can see you typing. Is it about Jenny?
is it about me again? Oh my goodness. Did we not get that guy taken care of yet? All right. So no, so I'm still over here presenting though, right? I think I am. Yeah, I'm looking at it
Yes.
now. Ah, this is
Yes.
this is let me guys you guys let me know in the comments, man. This is different. This is different. This is different. All right. So all right, cool.
Yeah, so you mentioned you're still presenting, right? So I'm in the other meeting, right? So I'm in the
Yeah.
other space. Sorry, I'm in the
Yeah.
other space. And you
Yeah.
said you're still presenting. And now I want to come back. So I want to come
No,
back and join
let
you in
me
the
join
center space.
you. Let me join you over in design.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I can click on design and join you.
Yep. So just
I'm looking in
simply
there. It
click on,
says
you can actually, yeah,
design.
you can hover on design. You can hover on design to see what's going on here, whether you're
Yeah.
interrupting the meeting or like interrupting the conversation. And
Oh,
in this case, you're not. So feel free to just hop right in.
yeah. It says James Yang is over there. Let me join. Oh, wow. Yeah. So
Welcome.
it's between these two right here. Yeah. This is nice. I underestimated it. What do you guys let me know in the comments? What are you guys thinking as we kind of wrap up here? Let's talk about the anything else before we talk about the deal and then we kind of get out of here. This was nice. Glad we were able to pull that off. That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Um, all right. All right. So what were we gonna do? We were going to look at the deal. So let me go, let me remove that from the stream.
Yep.
Let's get
Yep.
back.
So let me stop sharing. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna stop sharing. Yep.
All right. Cool, cool, cool. Uh-oh. Here's the other Adrian. What's her question as I set up for the share screen? She says, when he went into the other space, can others join him there like a private hot seat or instant deal? I think so. Yeah. Go ahead and answer that question there, Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So all the spaces that you create, they are open for people to hop in and out of, for the most part.
Yeah,
Yep. So imagine, yeah.
that's it's a good it's a good question, Adrian. My two Adrians, man, they come with these all technical questions. 3 times QX4, and then you got Johnny. These are people in my communities. I talk to them mostly on the daily. So I kind of know what it's just funny. All right, so let me find Kaizon here and we're gonna wrap this up here. Let me see. All right. So let me share. Oh, wait a minute. I can't share screen from there. Hold on. Got the wrong thing here. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so let's do this here. Wait a minute. So anything else you need to share with us, sir?
Look, I think that's probably okay. So I think there's a lot of other features that we have that would benefit the average user. Um, Like, I think in terms of what we try to provide is we try to provide as much things you can kind of collaborate with people on in the meeting itself without having to open new tabs. So as an example of that would be, let's suppose you're in a meeting and you want to take some notes. Instead of actually opening up a Word document or like a separate document on another screen or on your screen, we allow you to kind of open up a notes feature directly in the meeting. So you can jot down quick notes, jot down like the core ideas that you want to kind of note down. And that gets saved automatically to your flow.
Okay. So another question from Adrian: can you restrict this? Who can join the rooms? Like send an invite to a person to join you. I think I know the answer to that, but I'm let you answer that one.
Okay, so okay, so that it's a two-part question, right? So can you restrict who can join the rooms? At the moment, the answer is no. So we don't have a locking of spaces just yet. I think
Okay.
it's one of those features that has been loosely requested that we're looking into. In terms of can we, I guess, lock people from joining the meeting itself? The answer to that question is also at the moment no. We're currently working on a waiting room feature which will allow hosts to selectively admit
Hmm.
participants or like people from joining. So the answer to both of those questions is at the moment no, but they are
Okay.
likely coming.
So what do you have as I pull this up? What do we I mean, so there's a couple of things I don't think you do have, definitely on the security side. What do you
Mm.
have in the pipeline that we can look forward to if we go and pick up Kaizon space?
Yeah, so in terms of what we have coming out really, really soon
Yeah,
as new
can you
features.
can you reveal here on the digital growth hack stuff? Not any secret stuff, but tell us, hey, this is
Yeah.
in the oven. It's almost ready. It's almost
Yeah,
ready.
definitely. Look, I'm happy to share these two features because we had already promised a few other AppSumo users, and I already let them know when that timeline is. So I'm happy to
Well,
share
you
them
let
with you.
them know, but you didn't let us know. You didn't let the
Yeah,
digital growth.
definitely.
You didn't let the digital
Yeah,
growth hack.
definitely. So the first one is it's the idea of being able to share links and having an interactive web page experience in the meeting itself. Look, when
Mm,
we first designed this platform, we weren't aware of like this feature actually being possible. But over time, so with the AppSumo like customers and community, and I guess other users, they've kind of let us know that hey, look, some platforms have been able to share a link and allow people to kind of interact with the web page, and we were like, wow, that's a really cool idea. So we've been looking into it, and that like feature is coming really, really soon.
I want to give me a use case on that. I mean, because when you say it, I'm like, but then what's a use case on that? Why would I be sharing? Am I sharing? What am I sharing? Am I sharing a link or I'm sharing a link that already has a PowerPoint slide on it, then commented on it? Or I guess I need to understand that a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So we were also perturbed about like what the use cases could look like. But one of our like I guess one of our customers or users said that effectively when they do a coaching session, at the
Mm,
end of the coaching session, it's really, really easy. Like it would be a lot easier if they could just share the link to, I guess, the billing or the checkout
mm,
page after their session. And how that works is they effectively share a link to their coaching page, coaching session, and in real time, the customer can process the checkout or process any action, like fill in a form, and they can check out in real time. So that way they don't like so that way the host or the coach doesn't exactly have to kind of ping pong through with emails and sending invoices.
so is it? I just want to understand it. So is it like it's like a recap page or a session or uh,
Right. It's no,
a
so
session
it's kind of
recap?
okay. So yeah, so
Yeah.
imagine like a Google form, right? So let's suppose you have a Google form with a payment processing at the end. So that's a
Mm,
link. So you just send a link to a Google form, and that
mhm,
Google form appears in the container where you see our presentations. So
mm,
where you just shared, so if you think back to the space meeting we just had, where you
sure,
shared the idea proposal PDF. In
sure.
that container, imagine there was a web page, any web page would do, frankly. So, for example, a Wikipedia page, or for example, a payment processing form
So
page.
a CTA, a call to action type of or a
Yeah,
redirect?
yeah.
A CTA or a redirect? I'm trying to follow it, but man, we got a
Okay,
whiteboard
actually,
up.
okay. I think this is a perfect example. Let's suppose right now, I would like to help you navigate on how to purchase our plan on AppSumo.
Okay.
Right. So right now you're sharing the screen of the AppSumo page,
Okay.
right? And everyone can see that. Now, the
Yeah.
only problem with that is if I was the one that wanted to purchase the plan, I can't click buy now,
Hmm. Okay.
right?
So
Because you're sharing the screen, right?
because I'm
But if we can share a live link, then what that allows me to do is I can now, as the participant, I can actually click through that web page, input my details, and buy the AppSumo Kaizen Space plan in real time in front of you.
oh, now that is juicy. That's
Yeah.
nice. Now I got it. Yeah, you got to give me scenarios, man. You can't just nah. You got to give. I like that. So
Yeah, my bad.
that's coming soon. Is that for a certain tier, or everybody's getting that, or is
Yeah,
that
look, that's yeah, look, I think any time that we release a new feature that we can bring to everyone, we will but we'll just bring to everyone. And this is one of those features that would have access, that everyone is going to have access to, tier 1 to 5.
nice? Okay. Let's talk about the deal here because I think there may have been some questions. And normally, when founders come, as we're going to get you out of here on this, but normally when founders come, they're saying something and we're understanding it differently, right?
Yeah.
And is there anything you want to clarify here? Like users, we know what users are. It's like that's how many email addresses can be associated with this Kaizon account. Is that correct? So if I have 3 people on my team, I get a tier 2. I have 3 people on my team, correct?
Yes.
So that's 40 people per user can be using it simultaneously, correct?
Yeah, so basically each meeting room that is hosted by a user will have
Mhm.
40 participants.
Okay. Not
So
to be
40 total
confused with
people.
not to be confused with Johnny's or hey, let's all get together and let's have a powwow and all right, I beat that one to death. All right. So spaces per meeting breakout. So does this mean that in my particular room, let's say I had a room of one of these three, I can have 3 breakout rooms or 3 of those tabs. I mean, I can have 20 of those tabs. Is that what that is?
Yes. Yeah, so you can have 20 of those tabs, yes.
So each person can have 20. Okay, got it. Live editors per meeting. So this is the answer to that question. So everyone can have at least 10 for tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. This must be a limitation of the software or something like that, but that's what you guys have found. And honestly, I can't see people having that many. I don't know, but I'm saying I guess you guys settled on 10 or you just thought 10 was a good number or you didn't think to try to give people more room as they went up to each tier because I know AppSumo sometimes helps you design stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
so look, in terms of the numbers with 5 and 10, it actually came about with our user testing. So
okay,
when users actually had more than 10 editors,
sure.
it was a very chaotic experience,
I can believe
just
that.
from, I guess, a user management perspective. So the hosts were like commenting about, oh, okay, so when there was more than 10 people, it was really hard to keep a track of what people were doing on that document.
That's
And as a
fair.
result, we were like, okay, let's bring that down.
Yeah, 10. Okay. So uh so every did you add Google Drive integration for everybody? Because I don't know if everybody had it initially.
Okay, so originally, everyone had Google Drive, but Tier 3 didn't have OneDrive and Dropbox. But based on your feedback, I remember I recall specifically you emailed and you were like, "Hey, look, OneDrive and Dropbox would be great in Tier 3." And what we did was we worked with you and like a few other users, and we were like, "Okay, let's try to make this happen," because
Wait,
everyone
wait,
wanted
wait.
it in Tier 3.
Hold on. I think people, the Gregory James, the Anthony Ross, right? The Adrian Calloway, right? The Johnny, the Leon, they need to know that I helped get them Dropbox in tier 3. And I think you kind of said that and you kind of glossed over it, right? But can you explain to them our conversation, right? Because I need to get
Yeah,
credit, right? Because I need to get credit. Everybody
yeah,
knows I need
definitely.
to get credit. So
Yeah,
I'm being
look, I will always credit you whenever I can. So how the story went was, so Jenny and I, we hopped onto like a quick walkthrough demo, And then his initial thoughts were, hey, look, the OneDrive and Dropbox feature is like really neat. But why is it locked up in tier 4 and tier 5? Like that felt like, hey, look, it was a lot less accessible than he wanted it to be. And we had the same, like, I guess, comments through some other users as well. And our main limitation at that point was simply cost. Because
Mm.
we use, I guess, a custom editor that we host ourselves for OneDrive and Dropbox, we
Right.
needed to figure out a way to kind of bring those costs down before we could offer that in tier 3. But because a lot of people wanted it, and Jenny was like, hey, look, this is a really smart move to make, we were like, all right, okay, let's try to make this happen. And then over about 2 weeks, we kind of, okay, probably a week actually, a week and probably 8 days, we were like, all right, we could make it happen. So we told the AppSumo team, hey, look, let's change the deal and kind of bring that out.
Nice.
So all
I,
credits
I
to
didn't.
Jenny.
I didn't even. I honestly, I didn't even. I knew we had talked about. It. He was like, yeah, as other friend, every other. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. And I know there's costs associated. There's a lot of sumo links out there. Just think, hey, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. I know that there's costs associated with it, and I don't want anything that's going to turn you upside down and be insolvent. I can get as much as I can today, but it does me no good if I can't get it 365 days from now, right? And that's the short sightedness. I think some sumo links, not all, but I think some of them have. Whereas I'm like, hey, the longer they're in business, the more value and more return I got off of this, and I will share and tell others, or allow people to say, hey man, what are you using? Hey man, I use this tool called Kaizon. It's fire. It does this, it does that. Hey, here's an affiliate link. Boom, boom, boom. Psh, there we go. Right. That's another story. All right. So OneDrive, then a 24-hour max length meeting. Let's explain that. And then before we kind of get out of here, let's kind of explain that the 24-hour max length meeting, because you said our links never really expire. Now that I'm kind of confused on that.
Yeah, definitely. So the 24-hour max length refers to I guess, the total amount of time you could have in the meeting
Hmm.
in one continuous stretch.
Oh, I see.
So for
24 hours.
example, yeah, so for example, if you start a call now, you can sit in that call for 24 straight hours before that specific session ends. But the second that session ends, if you feel like you still need to keep the conversation going, everyone in that meeting can simply rejoin that space with the same meeting link, and you can
That's a
continue for
unique.
another
That's
24 hours.
unique. That's a very unique. I don't think everybody can do that. That's another. I like that. That's another superpower. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. I haven't. I don't know any too many tools do that. Hmm. I like that. I like that. All right. So what is snapshot save to flow? Tell us what that is, so we'll know we're getting that.
Yeah, so with Snapshot Save to Flow, this is our, I guess, like our way of making it easier for users to take screenshots. So we know that like a lot of times a picture kind of like speaks like 1,000 words,
Sure.
and it's a lot more representative of, like, for example, what you want to note down as part of the meeting.
Hmm.
But it's a lot, like, I guess it's like we're just trying to make that process simpler by having that ability through a button in the meeting, as opposed to
Mm,
having to kind of get a third party like screenshot tool.
mm, okay. Like that. All right. So as we get out of here, right? Because we were running over a little bit. Um, what's the future of Kaizon? Why should we invest? And it's tough out here in these LTD streets, James. I'm telling you, it's tight.
Yeah.
But why should we I have a tier 1 now because I have a couple other solutions, and now I'm thinking about getting to tier 3 just based on our conversation and based on some of the things, the way you showed me I can use them. I'm probably gonna go up to a tier 3. Why should I go and fork out, couple hundred more dollars to get your tier 3 or maybe even a tier 4? Why should I do that when I don't even know that you'll even be here 6 months or a year from now? And the reason so
Yeah.
before you answer that question, we all, not all of us, maybe in this session, I'd say maybe 30% of us, a greater percentage of us have been burned by founders in the past. I'd say greater than 50% of us on this session, but on this live stream. But there's another smaller amount of us that had invested heavily in a similar tool that was game changing. It was so game changing that once they got funding, it changed because the investors or the angel investors said, you need to go in this direction. And they were like, okay, we'll go in that direction, versus us, the end users, like, no, 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 you don't have to do that. We love it the way it is now. We'll continue to help you stay afloat. And they had so much pressure from investors to kind of change. And then they killed the golden goose. I don't want to end like that, but I kind of want to know before I start forking out my last couple of $100 here, because it's getting thin. What can you tell us? I gave you time. I gave you time to answer this question. I kind of made it longer than what it should be, but what?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Look, honestly, like we get this question a lot, so it's not really one of those questions that is left field for us anymore. Especially after like being on the marketplace for a bit.
Sure.
Okay, so look, I think one thing that I like to kind of like just address is the elephant in the room, right? The elephant in the room is sessions. Okay, so for us, from our perspective, like just as to be very transparent, we've actually never used sessions as a product, which is really a shame because we've heard great things about them. And we really honestly would have loved to like kind of like take some nuggets of features and like inspiration from them. But we never got the chance to, so that's kind of a shame. Like
Now
look,
you brought
I
up
don't know
sessions.
how.
You brought up sessions. I didn't.
Yeah, look, I thought, look, I think it's probably easiest to just clear it out, right? I think, look, I don't
I
know
said,
what
dude,
happened to them.
just get it out there.
Yeah,
So,
look, yeah, look, I think everyone's thinking that, so might as well bring that up, right?
yeah, I mean, in all fairness, James, right? And we're out here, I've been in the LTD space for a while. That was by far one of the best tools I'd ever seen
Mm,
for this space. And they just had everything. And
yeah,
so I think some of the things, and you and I can talk offline, I can kind of give you some ideas and some of the things that they did that people
mm,
liked. For example, I can show up 10 minutes, and I'm gonna give you this nugget, and I want you to write this down because I don't think you've heard this one. You
yeah,
may have. I can show up 10 minutes late to a
right.
meeting. Well, no, not 10 minutes late. I can show up 10 minutes before. I say, oh man, crap, I got a meeting in 10 minutes. I could log into sessions and say, create me an agenda for a meeting that helps people talk about YouTube growth. And it says, oh, you want us to do that?
Mm,
Done. As soon as the person shows up and says, yeah, I put this agenda together for us. And we had never seen that, right? We had never seen that. And this is really before AI it was like AI
mm,
was just like, what is this? And they had it, right? And those types of things that anytime, and I'm gonna share this with you, and I know we definitely got to go, and I'm gonna give this to you as words of wisdom as a founder. Anytime you could make me as a solopreneur, the small business owner, the business owner, help me make money, make it easy for me to make money, I'm gonna make sure that you stay in business, right?
mm,
So if you came back and says, hey, Jenny, we want to implement this new feature, but we have to pay for it, right? So you're gonna have these people, oh, blah, 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 blah. Didn't tell me, say, hey, you know what? It's gonna cost us an additional $30. So we're gonna raise our prices by $30. But because you believed in us initially, we're only gonna charge you 10 to help offset the cost. Or we're gonna charge you a one-time cost to get that feature that'd be fair. So when you start working with me like that, and any founder out there, when you start working with me as someone who trusted in your tool, not as a direct investor, but an indirect investor, I feel like I have skin in the game. I really need you to survive. So I'm going to work
mm,
with you on that. But don't be like, hey, we're going out of business unless everybody starts paying $500 a month. When I
mm.
paid my initial 500 to buy the tool, now you know what I'm saying? Don't make those stupid mistakes like that. come to us, let us know, but don't come to us when the ship's sinking, like, iceberg straight ahead, and we only got like 2 minutes to get prepared. Don't do that. That's the only advice I would give you at that particular point. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, look,
And
completely agree.
yeah, so anyway, I that kind of
Look,
went weird, but that's the way. That's just the way it is. You keep hearing about sessions, but I can tell you, I had sessions for like 2.5 years, and it was some of the best software, and I made a lot of money from it. One last other thing that they did is they gave you the ability to turn a meeting space, and then you can come back right back and have a full blown webinar presentation. They gave you the intimacy of a meeting room, a one-on-one coaching room, or maybe a small cohort meeting room. And then you can come back and say that you can create a landing page for a webinar and do a full-blown webinar. People can register, all that. It was something to behold, man. It was.
that does,
So,
yeah. Look, I think with sessions, they like I think the general feedback that we've gotten is they were the do-it-all tool, the one that could replace like probably 5 to 6 different products, and I think that
yes,
is truly something that's impressive about like sessions as a product.
it was fire, man. One last statement here. If Kaizon went the sessions route, white labeling opposed to Zoom route, it would be more at interest. Let's talk about the white label real quick. I've been wanting to get you out of here, but is there any white labeling domain type of?
Mhm.
Let me give you.
Right.
Let me give you
Okay.
an out. I'm gonna let you out. I'm gonna give you an out on this. You're gonna discuss it with your team once you leave AppSumo. Then you're gonna come back, create another tier, and those who are grandfathered in can upgrade to that tier that gives you domain and white labeling. I did it for you. I'm done, man. That's it. No more free consulting for you. But right now, I know that's a hard pill to swallow. And it's something you weren't even thinking about when you came to AppSumo, but that is something desperately that we look for as Sumo Links. We definitely look for white labeling. The reason why is because we don't, a lot of people, what you fail to realize, you may know this, you may not. And the reason why sometimes your tool grows out of an LTD or sometimes it don't. We don't like a lot of people to know what we're using.
Right.
We don't. So the white labeling, and people pay for it. So
Mm.
I'd say come back with another tier at it. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, this has been great, man. Any last words? I'm gonna put you in a single shot here. Put you in a single shot.
Yeah.
Any last words here?
Um, Look, can I get 60 seconds to address the last two questions? So the one on, hey, why should we invest?
Oh,
Because of
yeah.
like popular products that have gone down, and also white labeling. So just really quickly on those two topics, right? So white labeling, the reason why we haven't offered it at this point in time is because we're a new entrant, so we're in a very, very competitive market. And we need all of the word of mouth and like feedback and like, I guess, spreading of our platforms from daily use to kind of cement our reputation as a brand and as a platform against the true like titans in this market. So white labeling at this point would kind of kill our potential of doing that. So that's kind of the comment about white labeling. In terms of why, I guess why we don't think we're going to go out of business in 6 months is effectively we try to price our products knowing that eventually lifetime deals are going to be like unprofitable and they're going to be like, they're going to cost more than we end up making. That being said, though, we only try to offer features we know we can sustain. That's
Mm,
kind of our approach very simply. So whenever someone's like, hey, look, we want a feature, for example, AI transcriptions, we know at this point in time, we can't provide that feature without it being unsustainable in an LTD.
mm,
As a
mhm,
result, we're working hard in our end, on our back end, to figure out how do we make this work as an LTD and as an experience that people don't have to think about. We don't want to offer a feature that is limited enough where it doesn't provide people value. So we'd only include a feature where if you use it, you're like, okay, this works for me. And I don't have to think about, hey, look, are they going to be sustainable by offering this feature? So I guess the closing thought is we try to bring features only if we know that they are sustainable. And because of that approach and other, I guess, cost-minded approaches, we might be a bit slower on the feature uptick, but you can well, look, no business can promise they're going to be like running a decade or two into the future, but you can kind of rest assured that we have that mindset, I guess, on the forefront of all of our decisions.
Wow, that's fair. So for all my audience out there, all of my followers, all of my subscribers, that's fair. That's about the best answer I've heard from a founder in a long time. Just keeping it real says, hey, listen, if we can offer it, we can do it internally. Yeah, we'll cover that because I already know LTD is a sunken cost. Anybody's been in my class, anybody been in my sessions, it's a sunken cost. I'm not going to generate any more revenue from something that's tying up my servers. Definitely to people like Johnny, it has 3,000 people on there every day. so, so that's a cost associated with that. And that's a real cost of doing business. And I don't think some people get it, but I think if you say, hey, we can offer white labeling, we can offer this. I think what I would do, right? And this is just me. I would come back, even if I did a monthly charge, then give me something else I can make money from. Right. And so what I mean by that is if I'm willing to pay you, and this has to be a three-pronged effect, and I've worked with other founders on it too. I'm willing to pay a monthly off of an LTD if it allows me a whole nother revenue stream as well, right? Where I have an opportunity to make that monthly back. So to me, white labeling and name domain, that I'm not going to make any money off of that. It's just that it's not going to share people what I do. But if you throw in something else, is, hey, Jenny, by the way, you're going to be able to do this too. That way you can put money in your pocket too. Okay. I like that. And you throw that in with the white labeling. Okay. We found another feature that you can offer, Jenny, on top of the white labeling. So now I can either recharge or you give me a way that I could possibly have an agency model and start having people come underneath me. Hey, we're going to give you 5 sub slots or 5 sub agency slots underneath it, along with the domain name. I like that because now I can make now I can make my money back. Now I can make your monthly my obligation to you by bringing in a couple of people underneath me. Those are the things that and people, and I'm telling you right now, people are willing to pay for that because now you've created another revenue stream for me. And this is not a tool this is not an ecosystem tool. This is just an efficiency tool. But if you create a way for me to make money, and then give me the domain name. Oh, okay. I like that. I'll pay you for that. The price, I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody's winning because you're winning, right? I'm winning because now I've created a new revenue stream, and I don't mind paying you because if I'm paying you $100 a month and I'm making $400, $500 a month off of each seat, everybody's winning, right?
Yep.
Just saying. And this has been great, man. You have any last words about compelling? You want people to stay tuned? I'm gonna put you on a single shot and give us the best. This has been one of my best interviews this year, hands down. Because you're a real founder. I really like that. You didn't give me no BS. You just kept it 100, right? And we call out here in California, you kept it 100, right? And I'm just trying to tell you, man, that's how we talk. So you kept it 100, so I appreciate that. Any last words? I'll give you the final single spot.
Yeah, so look, I think with our platforms, they simply look, if you're looking for a video collaboration platform, give us a shot. Yeah, that's frankly it.
All right, James, it's been great, man. You guys were great. Thank you guys for joining in. This was fun. This was fantastic, and I appreciate it. Look forward to connecting with you further, and we'll stay in touch for sure. I know the pulse of the
Thank
people.
you, Jenny.
I know the pulse of the
Yeah,
people, so I
definitely.
can kind of tell you. So I appreciate that. Hey, thanks a lot. You guys have been great. Hey, thank you guys for joining us here, the Digital Growth Hacks Club. James here with Kaizon, founder. It was fire. I appreciate it. You guys need to catch the replay. Use my link. I brought you guys some juice. So use my link and support the channel. You guys have been great. Take care. Bye for now.
Thank you, Jenny.